You were at the owners' meetings. I'm sure you know this, and you've already talked with Doran Dickerson on our air, but we want to hear the story for ourselves because Bob and I are skeptical. You got the front row seat next to Tomlin at his media address. Next thing anybody knew, it certainly looked like you were sleeping, sitting next to Tomlin. It's led to many theories. Was Mark on illegal substances? Was Mark sleeping? Was Mark staging this for the benefit of the Pat McAfee show? We know that you're a blue check. We know that every engagement you get, I think you get money. That's what people are saying. What happened the other day when you were seated next to Tomlin and we all saw the photos and the video? The floor is yours, my friend.
Do you want the Cliff's Notes version or from the beginning?
From the beginning?
Well, like I told you before, I've been there and I know how early those things are. I think that contributed to it.
Yeah.
All right. The day before Sunday, Mike Tomlin talked to about 8 to 10 of us local guys there. 25 minutes, sat down, very similar place. It might have been the same actual room. And went over everything, everything possible. So there's nothing else you could really ask him at that point. During this engagement, I asked a question. I was right across from him. As I started to ask the question, he gave me that Mike Tomlin glare, big eyes, just like staring into my soul. Then I start like stammering and stuttering. And I finally got it out, and everybody's laughing at me. So fast forward to the next day. 7:45 a.m., this breakfast, they call it, with all the coaches. I get there early. There's a million people around Mike Tomlin. Small room. You could tell it was hot because you saw Mike Tomlin's sweaty head. People jammed all over the place. I end up saying, okay, I'm here early. I'm sitting right next to Mike Tomlin because I don't want him glaring into my eyes again and me stuttering and stammering again as he's staring into my soul. I can at least glance off to the side a little bit. But then I'm thinking, wait a second, I can't videotape him because I couldn't videotape him the day before. We're not allowed to. So we start there and we're talking. You look real closely, Joe. My phone is like this, and it's hard to say on the radio, but it's tilted here so I can see what he's doing. Meanwhile, as I'm taping him, I am processing some of the things we're being asked him while also thinking, we asked him 25 minutes worth of questions yesterday. What else do I need to ask him? So I'm thinking. The great Mike DeFabo decides to take a video at that point, post it, and it looks like I'm sleeping when I'm really just in deep thought thinking, what am I going to ask him next, while glaring at my phone to make sure I have him in frame so I could post some of the video. And that was it. Then it just absolutely went crazy.
But you like the fact that it went crazy, right?
At first it was fun. But after the 400 millionth time, somebody's like, you sleeping piece of garbage. You got the best job in the world, and you can't even stay up. It gets a little frustrating there.
You have to learn to not pay attention to that stuff.
Bob, you've heard the testimony. Let the cross-examination begin. What's your question? I've got some.
My only question would be, you pointed your camera in direction...
Yeah, I was real close to him, so I had to go like this to get that bad angle. If you see him close to me.
You don't strike me as someone, however, that would be afraid of looking straight into his eyes.
Yeah, but he just glared in my soul the other day.
See, that's the flimsy part of the argument.
No, it was.
What do you care what somebody glares into your soul?
I have the audio.
And how is it going to? How is sitting closer to him?
So I didn't have to make eye contact. If he was glaring at me, I could have just turned to the side a little bit.
You could have stood behind him.
So I was rattled. I didn't want to stand because people were jamming it.
But those who have doubts said you picked that seat right next to him, so it's convenient to take a picture if you happen to delve off.
It's a funny thing you should say that because Alan Saunders was sitting right next to me.
The alley cat.
And I said, Alan, I got to be very careful of my facial expressions during this because there's 5 cameras in front of me.
And that's a good point.
I said, I got to be very careful of this. And meanwhile, 2 seconds later, I don't listen to my own advice.
Okay, I need to hear the following statement. I, with your right hand raised, I, Mark Kaboly. Mark Kaboly was not asleep next to Mike Tomlin.
I was not asleep. I'll bet anything in the world.
No,
Anything's
his head-
possible.
Joe,
Hold on. Now,
I've
this
talked
is
to
a
sleep
case-
experts. I have an authority on this. The sleep expert said if you fell asleep, your head would immediately
I'm
go
not
down.
sleeping. Maybe
He
maybe
wasn't
my
sleeping.
mouth was open.
He
but
did, and then when Tomlin
he
talked,
wasn't.
he perked up like
He was
someone
just-
had
I'm telling
injected
you,
him with caffeine.
He won't admit this, but I think the time of this thing, it's early in the morning too. You may just close your eyes. All it takes is one picture,
Okay.
which is not
That's
necessarily
dozing
true. The
off
same
then a
story.
little bit.
I
Did
am
you
not
doze
representing
off?
Mark
Did you
Kaboly. I'm
doze
just giving
off?
you that.
Listen,
He
I-
also just protested too much. I asked him for a simple explanation, and he went overboard.
No, I just told you every single thing that happened.